Hi guys, we are live. Welcome to Chemo Glow, where the glow doesn't define me, I define the glow. We have a couple of technical difficulties, but that never stops us from going live. So please start a Facebook watch party, share, click, follow. Follow us on YouTube and anywhere podcasts are aired. I'm sorry, I'm a little off. It always happens at the very beginning. I have my Beyonce fan going on over here. At the very beginning, everything always wants to go wrong, but it's all right. It is all right because I'm excited about my guest tonight. My girl Cassandra is coming in the building. I hope you had a chance to listen to episode 7. Life is meant to be lived. Now, just imagine this. You know, you're determined to live your best life ever, right? You're raising 3 sons. You're going through major changes in your life, and the unexpected happens and it rocks your world. Like, what do you do when all this is going on? When all you're trying to do is live your best life. So, I am about to introduce my girl Cassandra, who needs no introduction. But Cassandra, thank you for joining me today.
You are very welcome. Thank you for having me.
Where are you at, girl?
I am in the Panther Den, better known as the basement. Know me, have exactly where I am, exactly what I'm about. This was an area that I created, a DIY project that I started to host my 40th birthday party a couple years ago. I was looking
Uh-huh.
for a venue, and I was like, you know what? I have a venue right downstairs. So
Basement.
I did, some minor additions, and we had the most epic 40th birthday party ever down in the Panther Cave.
I wish I was going through surgery or something, treatment. Who knows? But I lived off the pictures. And if she were to turn that around, I mean, I think you're sitting at the bar, right?
I am.
Okay, at the bar, she had to move some stuff around so you can see all the libations that live down there. But that is where we're going to do the round table when COVID finally decides to leave us.
Absolutely.
So I enjoy doing your podcast, and I'm so happy that you're here to live stream. Goodness, Cassandra, we already got 13 people on. That is a record already. Woo woo! And they just keep coming on. So you know you are loved, right? Because these are all your people that are coming on here. I mean, they're already giving us comments, chats, and all kinds of things. So
Yes,
but you don't worry about that. We're just gonna talk it up, chat it up, and we'll be here about an hour.
absolutely.
All right. So, what was your life like before your world was rocked? Like, what was going on?
So before my world was rocked into a whole nother dimension, life was life. I was
Hmm.
living life. Um, and maybe I wasn't living life, maybe I was existing because there is a very um,
Yes.
definite difference in existing versus living. What I'm doing now is
Uh
living.
huh. Oh,
Um, I'm not existing anymore. I am living my best life. My new slogan is the rest of my life will be the best of my life.
oh
So
my
at
goodness.
the time, I was going through a lot. I was going through a very private, yet nasty, and I'm to kind of necessarily tell the world because that's nobody's story but mine, and
Yeah.
not anything that I give to people who don't need to have it. But I was going through a very private divorce at the time.
Hmm.
I had a flood in my kitchen, and I ended
Yeah.
up with the handyman from hell. So, so I was
I
going
remember.
so I was going through that and trying not to kill anybody. Um, but I had decided that, after years and years and years and years, when I got pregnant with my third heartbeat, which is Cameron, I had experienced significant sciatica after I had
Yeah.
during the pregnancy and after. And the doctor told me, oh, after you have the baby, he gets off that nerve. I had always been very heavy chested. Thanks
Hmm.
to my lovely mom, who I'm sure is on. Hey, mom.
Hello.
So I had decided that I was going to get a breast reduction to see if I could ease some of that back pain and some of that sciatica. And so I did. And
Mm-hmm.
then on my very first follow-up appointment, it was earth shattering.
What happened? Because you had your breast reduction, you had your boobies for how long? Your nice new
Ta-ta!
tatas.
I had those perky suckers for all of 3 weeks.
Ooh.
And I had my surgery on December 27th of 2018. I had my first follow-up on January 7th of 2019. And when I went in, my mom was with me. And let me just take a moment and shout out
Yeah.
to my support system because my family, and I'm not going to get them, my family and my friends are rock. My mom, my sister Denisha, my sister Kimberly,
Yes.
they are my rock. And so
Yeah.
my mom put her life on hold. She was here. She went with me to my follow-up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I pulled it back together. Woosah.
We'll have some moments like that, I promise. It's
Oh,
okay.
girl, listen,
What you working with over there?
listen, honey, we already ready over here. In
First of all, I am mad that it's in a Panthers. It- there we go. I love it.
And so she was with me at my appointment, but it was simply supposed to be a very quick appointment. She didn't even come to the back with me. She was sitting out in the lobby. She was like, I ain't gonna go back. It's just gonna be a minute. So she sat out in the lobby. I went back and the nurse said, who's here with you? And I said, I'm in the waiting room. And she said, okay.
Mhm.
So the doctor came in and he said, I have some news and I have some bad news. So I'm immediately like, what bad news could you possibly have? Nowhere in my mind
Yeah.
I I envisioned hearing what I was about to hear. Um,
Yeah.
so he said, "What do you want first? Do you want the good news or the bad news?" And so, me being the Cassandra that I am,
Yep.
I always want the good news first because my glass always half full.
Yeah.
So he went right into the good news, and the good news is you're gonna be fine. And
Uh-huh.
so I'm like, I'm gonna be fine. So what's this bad news you got to share?
Yeah.
And so he said, the bad news is when you have a breast reduction, it's customary. We take your tissue sample and we send it to pathology to review your sample. And your sample tested positive for cancerous cells. And I
Mm.
said, who tissue?
All right.
Not
Whew.
my. And so he was like, yes, you have cancer. And because you my pink sister, you my sister beyond and before any of
Yeah.
that, but you my pink
Yeah.
sister as well. So the rest of that was Charlie Brown teacher all day. Womp,
Didn't
womp,
hear it.
womp,
And your
womp.
mom wasn't in there with you at first.
No, she still at that moment she still was not in there with me. So what I said was stop. I said, mm-mm, don't say
Mhm.
another word. Somebody go get my mother. Because I knew at that moment I was
Yeah.
done of what was
Yeah.
coming out of his mouth. Like
Mhm.
literally, I couldn't even clearly see him anymore. It's
Mhm.
everything was a daze at that point. So my mom came in and they shared with her what they had shared with me. And the good
Mhm.
news was that we caught it very early. So you
Really.
know what? When somebody tells you that you have cancer stage 1, 2, 3, 4, none of that matters.
No.
So
You
for
just
you
hear
to tell
those words.
very early, that didn't even register. I mean, later
Uh
in
huh.
the journey, I was very appreciative and very glad that they caught it when they caught it. And thank God for the breast reduction because I had people in my corner who said, excuse my language, your titties ain't that big. You don't need a breast reduction. Don't do that. You don't need that.
Uh huh.
But it was a personal decision and a personal choice. And thank God that I went with my gut because by doing so, we did catch it very early.
Yeah. You were able to save your own life by doing some. You talked about, like, we've been friends. If you listen to the podcast, we figured out before 98.
Yes.
We've been hanging out doing girls' trips, going to these famous mountain trips
Right.
way before. And you have been talking about it. At one time, I was talking about a breast reduction. We was just very top heavy. It
Yes,
was
Lord.
cute back in the day. Mm-mm, not now.
Right, right.
Right. Well, you mentioned your family. You
Mhm.
mentioned your family. I'm fortunate to know all, your sisters, your mom. Kim is a hoot, love
Mhm.
her. And your family all came together. But what about your kids? How did you tell your kids what was going on with mommy?
So that was probably one of the most difficult conversations of my life. Um, my oldest two were old enough to know what cancer is, and they had experienced cancer from you.
Yeah.
So you've been part of my family, my extended friends, my friend family for forever. And during your journey, you stayed at my home a lot, and they got
Yeah.
to see the steps and the stages and the process and the bald head and the
Mm.
chemo fingers.
The
So
black fingernails.
right when they thought about cancer, they thought of Aunt Gina.
Yeah.
So I already knew that it was going to be a challenging conversation because they had experienced that with you.
Yeah.
So I didn't tell right away because I was still dealing and processing myself. And I needed to, as a mother, you always want to put on that happy face and that
Mm-hmm.
strong exterior for your children. So I needed to get myself together before I
Yeah.
could have a conversation with them. Cameron was a lot younger, and I felt like it was just not appropriate to even discuss it with him. So I didn't share with him, but I brought Christian and Kaden into our playroom, and I sat them down and I said to them, "Do y'all know what cancer is?" And they both said, "Yeah, Aunt Gina has cancer."
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Okay." I said, "So you do know that cancer is not a death sentence. Just because you have cancer doesn't mean that you're going to die." Because I knew, and through you, that they equate cancer with death. And a lot
Yeah.
of people do, and it's not
They
true.
do.
It's a myth that needs to be debunked immediately.
Yeah.
Um, so I said, "You do know that that doesn't mean that someone's going to die." They said, "Yeah." And then they just got very stoic in the face. And I said,
Yeah.
"Where? Mommy has cancer." And my non my non-emotional child, which is
Yeah.
Christian, love him to death, but he is very much not the emotional child. You are not going to get a lot of emotion out of him. My sensitive child, Caden, he fell out,
Yeah.
buried his head into the couch, went into a full-on meltdown, crying, crying, crying. And then my non-emotional child fell asleep, and I
Yeah.
couldn't take it anymore. To
Yes.
see that one show any level of emotion broke my heart. So I'm crying, they're crying, and they're like, "Mom, we don't want you to die." And I was like, "Ain't child bye. Ain't nobody dying." Yeah, like I'm gonna, I'm strong. I'm gonna fight. I'm
I'm
gonna
going
fight.
to win. I'm going to win.
We gonna kick cancers. You know what? And we're gonna move on. But
Yeah.
it was, we cried a little bit, talked a lot more, and then
Mm-hmm.
you know, I gave hugs, I gave kisses, I gave reassurance, and we'll get on in here. See, this I'm
Hey,
telling
sweetie.
real life right here.
Look at that hair. Still don't have no shirt on. Still don't have no shirt on. Get out the frame.
So
Now
I'm
that is
live.
my guy right there. That oh my God. Let me tell you, let me back up a little bit. The reason why she says her kids was, Aunt Gina, they seen me. I was at Cassandra's house at least once to twice a month, staying days at a time to work. Cassandra is the only person besides my husband that's seen me at every stage of treatment from, having hair to no hair to black fingernails to one boob gone, two boobs gone, and her going, oh, damn. How is that going to turn out? How is that going to look, right? She has seen it all, which means her sons experienced it, but they were my joy. They had me downstairs breakdancing. I'm too old to be breakdancing with some little boys. We would go out to eat. They wouldn't let me carry my stuff upstairs. That's over with. Now I got to say, can you pick my stuff up and take it upstairs? No, Aunt Gina, you downstairs. Like they grown now. I'm in the basement now.
Right.
So they seen everything. And again, seeing that and not knowing as kids, they seen it all. Even though they were with me, they still seen what my cancer looked like.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And what they were expecting my cancer to look like. Because as a kid, you don't know that there's various degrees and various stages, and what you go
Mm-hmm.
through may or may not be what I go through. So, there were questions. Are you going to be bald
Mm-hmm.
like Aunt Gina? Are you going
Mm-hmm.
to your eyebrow? Are you going to
Mm-hmm.
this? Are you going to that? So I went through all that. I had 100 times. If they asked it 100 times, I answered it 100 times. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but having you in our lives to experience, and you're still here, and you're good and strong, and you had my M&Ms after the fact. That
Woo!
helped.
You can have them.
That helped to, I think, subside some of their worry. But they still
Yeah.
were just worried about their mom, which is
Yeah.
which is fair. But we got through it. They were there through the treatments, and they saw me sleeping in the chair for 3 weeks, and they were very helpful. And I just love those. I just love those. My heart beats.
They you had so many people who wanted help. Like so many people. All your friends, mill trains, whatever. At one point I know you was just like, can I just be by myself for 2 minutes? Because like you said in the podcast, your kids, at the end of the day, they want their mom. When they go to sleep, they want their mom. And when they wake up, they want to see mom. And life doesn't stop. So, how did you deal going through a nasty divorce that was private at the time, and then the flood? And I seen the work that guy did. It was garbage to your beautiful kitchen.
And he came highly recommended.
What you say?
I said he came highly recommended.
Highly recommended. I met him. I seen him twice. And I was like, what? He let his kid in here to do the work? It was bad. It was bad.
Hell.
So going through all of that, and you still had a job. You still had a work life, right?
I did. I still had a work life, and a breast reduction is not cancer. So I
Mm-hmm.
was back at work by the time I went for my follow up and got my cancer diagnosis. I was back at work. I think I had been back at work for 2 days or something like
Mm-hmm.
that. And so then you're stuck with, how much do I share with my employer? Because by law, you don't have to share anything.
Mm-hmm.
You have to give them no information. You don't, and let me give a public service announcement
Do it.
based on my journey. Anybody who is watching right now, if you have any medical condition, anything that takes you out of work, I know even if your manager is the most awesome person in the whole wide world, do not share any of your personal medical history with your employer. By law, you don't have to. And trust me, it does not. My MetLife representative gave me that advice, and it's free. I'm giving it to you. So therefore, from that moment on, when I go out of work, I don't discuss it with them, and they can't ask. I just
Yeah.
say I'm taking a medical leave from this date to this date. Period.
Yeah. And
Because
that's
I had a very
important.
nasty manager who felt like she had a PhD behind her name and could tell me how much time she thought I needed. So just keep your medical history personal. There are HIPAA laws out here to protect you. So don't
Mm-hmm.
share more than you have to with your employer. That's my first
And
public service.
and you and what got me was you said he thought you needed the one with no tatas that you needed, right? And that's crazy because when you what was the time limit? Where were you supposed to go back at work? What was the expectation?
So, um, my manager at the time thought that I needed 3 weeks. Um, you don't get to make that decision. But my written me out for right around that time actually. So I was scheduled to go back to work, and I actually was at work when I went for my follow up appointment. But once I got back and I did get cancer diagnosis, I did share with my manager at the time, and
Mm-hmm.
I was extended so much grace. When I tell you, I just celebrated last week my 20th anniversary with Bank of America.
Woo!
My
Keep a
employer
job
has,
for 2 years.
yes, they have done fantastic things for me, both personally and professionally. And when I tell you that they stood behind me through a lot of the tribulations in my life, not just the cancer diagnosis, but the passing of my first son who passed away preterm, my company gets all the praise for caring about their employees. So they did extend me a lot of grace, because just because I had the cancer diagnosis, until you start the road of surgeries, you don't get
Yeah.
to not go to work. You still have to
Yeah.
go to work. So, like, until I was scheduled for my mastectomy, I was expected to work. But my manager said, no, don't you come in here. You
Yeah.
stay home. I got you. Don't log in. I got you. So
Mm-hmm.
there was literally in 2019, from January when I got my diagnosis to August, I really did. I mean, popped in and out here or there, but I really didn't work.
And mentally, mental health is so important. People think when you're diagnosed with cancer, I'm sorry, I need to drink some water. My husband snuck in and got me some water. Medication. Extra medication does give you dry mouth. But people think when you are diagnosed with cancer and then you're done, you have your surgery, your hair grows back. But what about that mental health?
So
Life went on. What about yours?
So if we take a step back to what I talked about previously, I was
Mm-hmm.
going through some very personal challenges,
Yes.
challenges with my home, challenges with my husband. So my mental health, I consider myself, and I'll let you speak or attest, I
Oh,
consider
yeah.
myself to be a very strong woman, strong,
You
independent.
are.
But I hit the wall and I hit it
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
And place that outside of Julian's passing,
Yeah.
I've never really been at before.
Yeah.
Um, so when I hit the wall, the expectation was it was time for me to go to work when I hit the wall. And I
Yeah.
knew mental health perspective, I was nowhere near, nowhere close, nowhere prepared to go and function at the standard accustomed to functioning at my job. So I really had to dig deep and advocate for myself because they
Mm-hmm.
were pushing for me to go back to the office. And I literally, and you know this from my story, I
Yeah.
had to stand on top of the desk and scream, I need you to listen to me.
Mm-hmm.
No condition, mentally, physically, there's a chart and there's a graph and there's a diagram, there's a time frame where if you have this type of surgery, you can return on this date. So physically, could I return to work? Probably. I
Yeah.
probably have. But mentally, I was nowhere near, nowhere close. And so until I advocated for myself, and that's another public service announcement, you are
Advocate.
your own advocate. You have to advocate for your health care, your mental health, your physical health, your emotional well being, because nobody's going to do it for you. So I
Mm-hmm.
literally had to scream from the rooftops that I'm not ready. And I finally got the right person's ear, and I was written out and allowed the time to heal and to restore myself from a mental standpoint before I,
Mm-hmm.
expected to return to the office. And it was a challenge. And
I
so,
remember being at your house when you were like, no, I'm not going back to work. This lady, I'm going to just hang up. I remember when we were talking to your nurse navigator and you were like, I don't care what you say. And they have so many people coming in. There's wonderful doctors, there's wonderful nurses, there's so many wonderful things going on. But I think sometimes that mental health gets lost. And so
yes,
if you don't advocate and you just keep going, you just follow the chart.
right, right. And that's like,
Yeah,
I low key fired my nurse navigator.
I know.
I'm dealing with
I
you.
was there. I was there. I was like, oh my.
Like, I'm not dealing with you. You are not advocating for me. You are not
Mm-hmm.
my team. So therefore, you are gone. And I ended up changing. Shout out to Ro if you're on. I ended up, my network jumped into gear. And she was like, no, ma'am. So
Yes.
I ended up going to a completely different hospital, a completely different nurse navigator, and getting a completely different set of doctors involved who said and had my back. And then I realized, I'm sorry, Cash just entered the
I
room.
I
Hello,
hear your dog. She has a human dog down there. I'm surprised he hasn't jumped up and licked the camera.
everybody coming into the premises. Excuse the squeaking. Um, but she reached out on my path and put me in contact with some very kind people. And
Mm-hmm.
once I got in contact with them, I mean, I kind of knew my nurse navigator was just going through the motion. And this is a job to her. I'm a number to her. I'm a charge
Yep.
to her. But
Yep.
once I got in contact with these people over here to the left, I knew immediately I was not being cared for. She provided me with so many resources and
Yep.
so many things that my nurse navigator never even mentioned to me. So, again, you have to speak up for yourself. A closed mouth does not get fed. So
You
be
say
your
that all the time.
I do, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart.
And I'm all about advocating. I was like, nope, there's resources you can, but you don't have to pay for this. You don't have to pay for that. They have this, they have that. Say yes to it all.
Right,
You're going through cancer. You're
right.
going through cancer. Like Vanessa here says, it helps to have someone to keep you lifted up emotionally, even during the process of advocating for yourself.
Amen.
So helps because it's draining. All I want to do is live. All I want to do is breathe. All I want to do is be the best mother I can be, the best whoever I can be in whatever times. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
you talked about family, friends. Now, what people don't know is that you're 3 weeks out from surgery,
I am.
and you were diagnosed how long ago?
I was diagnosed in January of 2019.
Yes,
Hey, Mom.
2019. Hey, Mama. That is your that is your other grandson.
Yes,
Okay.
this is my fur baby. He is under my feet right now.
So
But
you
I
just had surgery.
out from surgery 3 weeks ago today. I went through a revision surgery. So my journey is not complete. I had surgery 3 weeks ago for revision. There were some symmetry issues that I was not comfortable with, and everybody knows I don't let a lot slide. If something
Mhm.
with something doesn't sit right in my spirit, I speak on it. So I went to my plastic surgeon, and I was like, I don't like the way this looks. And
Yeah.
I said, and he said, what do you mean? And I said, I'm sticking some prosthetics that you gave me. I was
Okay.
sticking in my bra because I had this thing going on. So I was
Mhm.
sticking in my bra, and I told my doctor, I said, I have this little thing and I'm sticking this inside my bra. And then he said, absolutely not. He said,
Yeah.
Cassandra, if you are that unhappy, then we'll go in and we'll fix it. And so, thanks to COVID, I was supposed to have this surgery in March. It got pushed back till August. So
Uh
I'm
huh.
3 weeks out from surgery. I've developed another freaking hematoma. So the journey continues, but you don't dwell on things, or I don't dwell on things.
Mhm.
You take a licking and keep sticking. It is what it is.
Mhm.
So I still
But
have.
but they look good. You sent me a picture. They look good. Let me just tell you. When we go back to Texas again, Tanya was up here.
I'm gonna say nope.
Nope. And one of the things that we've done together afterwards was we all went to Texas.
Right.
We spent some time with my cousin Demero, where we lived our best life in that moment. Oh my
Yes,
goodness.
honey. Yes. Yes.
And what was crazy when I was talking to him, I was just saying, Talanya was my person, you know? And
Right.
then here we go. Cassandra is coming.
I stole it.
And it's three women who dealt with so much,
Right.
so much. And now look at us.
Yeah.
We were pampered. Oh, let me tell you.
Oh my goodness. Oh my. I'm so mad at COVID right now because we would be like tickets purchased right now to go back.
What?
Right.
September, my birthday's coming up, so this is the month that we be going, right?
Right. Absolutely.
But just mental health is such a big thing. Now, how are your kids doing now that they see that mommy's moving forward. Life is moving forward. How are they doing?
So, you know, the time lapse is what, a little over a year since my first diagnosis, and a lot
Mm-hmm.
in a year, right? So they have matured and they are so much more helpful. They know that I'm not going anywhere. The fear of cancer is gone. So they are
Mm-hmm.
not afraid that mom's going to die. The fear is gone. So now it's just about helping. And I so
Yes.
appreciate that. I was going to get something out of the attic 2 days ago. And before I even got to pull the attic string down, Christian was like, Mom, do you need help? So just to see, they know that I'm still healing, and I'll tell them, like Kaden told me yesterday, that's more than 10 pounds. You shouldn't be lifting that. And I probably shouldn't, but
That's my boy.
um,
That's my baby.
so now they have transitioned into my daddy. They think, especially that middle one. He thinks he's my father. They are so protective over me. And it's heartening. I enjoy it. They're doing good. We're struggling like everybody else with this virtual learning throughout this
Yeah.
COVID stuff, but from a health perspective, they're doing good, and their mental health is good. My mental health is good. Our household is at peace. We are
Yeah.
just in a really, really, really good place right now.
Yeah. On your podcast, you mentioned how, like when we were talking, you're in the best place in your life right now.
Yes.
You're so moving forward. And the things that I've seen you go through personally would take the strongest of the strongest down. And when you hit that brick wall, I seen it. It was just like you were unraveling. You were, it wasn't a place that you were used to being at.
Right.
But still, your family, your friends. You mentioned also in the podcast about your dad. You
Mm-hmm.
mentioned about your dad and genetics. Can you talk about that a little bit? About
I
breast
can.
cancer and cancer that runs in your family?
I can. So my dad is one of the coolest cats that I know, and I love him to the moon and back. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Dad is a prostate cancer survivor. So when I did my genetic makeup, we went through, all of your parents make up, and you go into your grandparents and your aunts and your uncles and anybody in your family, from diabetes to high blood pressure to heart disease, like every single thing that anyone in your family possibly had, like they jot it down. And the way that they narrow this scope down to kind of explain to you where this all came from is amazing. So
Mm-hmm.
what I learned through that genetic makeup was that the female variation of prostate cancer is breast cancer. So
Mm-hmm.
because my daddy carries that for prostate cancer, this is more than likely where I get the breast cancer from. So it just helps to understand. I don't have any daughters, thank God, but I do have sons. So
Yeah.
as they get older, that's something for me to be aware of, and something that we need to have a conversation about for educational purposes as they get older, to understand how genetics work and how things come to be with,
Mm-hmm.
genetic makeup. So the genetics of it is just that, he didn't get diagnosed until he was much older in life. I am
Yeah.
the person on both sides of my family to have breast cancer, which was, that's why when he was like, your tissue tested positive for cancer, I said, who tissue? Like, my mother's side, and no one on my father's side is a breast cancer survivor. And all throughout my life, yeah, I have seriously started pondering writing a book, because my life has been challenge after challenge after challenge, obstacle, and I overcome, kicked all of them down in my face. Started out with severe eczema. People comment now on my skin and say, your skin is so beautiful. And I'm like, child, bye. If you knew what skin looked like when I was a kid, severe eczema. And then when I was 15, I was diagnosed with keratoconus. I've had 7 cornea transplants, the
Mm-hmm.
loss of my son, then this cancer. Like, it's just obstacle after obstacle after obstacle. And then sometimes I say, God, what else? What
What
do you
else?
to teach me? And I feel like every test is a testimony. And so I have to start getting my story out there and letting people know that no matter what life heals you, you can beat it. You can get
Yeah.
beyond. I've had challenge over challenge after challenge on top of challenge, and at the moment it may get me down, but when you come out on the other side,
Mm.
hallelujah, it's all.
What? That's why I do the podcast, because it's therapeutic, but it's my way. I think I shared with you a while back that I used to be down in the basement making like recordings in your basement, just crying about my life and what was going on. I was newly married. My husband was seeing me just die right in front of him. That's
Yeah,
what I felt like. And I was like, what am I going to do? So I started listening to those recordings and playing those recordings. I even did a recording when you were diagnosed, and I sent it to you later. And it's always my raw, uncut, not for teens or
right.
people who are not adults opinion, because it's how I feel. So I think it would be like the best thing ever for you to put it out there, because both of us are very private people, and here
Yeah.
you are talking about I need to write my story, and I'm all over my YouTube, Facebook with my
Right.
12 subscribers on YouTube. I'm gonna need y'all to subscribe. Stop playing.
Look at us. Yeah, and I had just here in the last, I don't know, month, started laying on spirit, and I've even started jotting down in a journal the tribulations and the trials that I've overcome.
Yeah.
Because I think at some point that I may just, write me a book. I have enough content and information that there is a life out there, there's a soul out there that I know I can touch. And if I just
Yeah.
touch one, just one soul
Well,
I can, then
let me back up.
my work is done.
Let me tell you, you touch mine.
Aw,
Now, see, actually, this is your towel from the walk, because I keep it on my Peloton, right? Because I have this towel and I have another towel for another friend, that I keep on my Peloton when I get on it. It's a little
mhm.
dusty right now, but you touched my life. I was in your house. Who lets another woman in their house, like sitting at the table, doing homework, giving baths, taking the kids, because that was my joy. You
Yeah.
know,
And
Waffle House.
I was like, woo, they going without.
But you touched my life. I got to see you have your last son. Like, I was there and you knew what I wanted, right? And when your son came up and touched my belly, and I still have that picture, like, you touched so many people's lives. But see, you are it. You were the person I called to go pick up my dress so I wouldn't cut it up
I
when I
know.
got my cancer diagnosis, and they asked me, your dress is here for your wedding. Forget a dress. You were that person. So you have touched so many people's life. And personally, I thank you. My husband thanks you. All
I love,
right.
I love Tavares.
He was you were having a moment. He was over there and I was like, yeah, I can't break this moment. And he looks like my boyfriend right now because he got,
All that beard on the pictures you sent me the other day.
oh,
What the what?
what the what? It is so sexy. Let me stop. This is not for, thank you. Thank you, boyfriend. Thank you. But you, even with purchasing your house, the moves that you made, we were just really honest with each other during those times. And I just appreciate it. So I believe that you do need to tell your story. As private as you are, I was blessed to have that conversation with you. And I think the podcast went so well. So everything that came up in the podcast was great.
Right.
So you really put it out there. So just talking about mental health, going through what you've gone through, all this stuff is so important. Now you have some people who are in our chat. Pam Chavis is up here. She's in our chat.
Hey, Mom. Hey, Aunt Tressie. I see you.
You see them all, right?
Yep.
All of them are so amazing. I was just talking to Sakara the other day about you. You know, she loves you to pieces.
I know. I love
Um, but
my
you have been,
family and my friends. When I tell you, she's probably not on now because she just literally was here when we started. And if you saw me mouthing, I was telling her bye. But one of my besties, Pam was here, and we had a moment right before this started because I love my family and I love my friends to absolute pieces. I don't
Yes.
know if D is on, if she is, hey D, hey Jaquetta. Like hey Jewel, hey all my friends, because my friends support me beyond anything that
Yeah.
I could have imagined. Literally, my surgery was 3 weeks ago. I cooked my first meal tonight.
I know.
I cooked my first meal tonight. The meal trains have been awesome. The DoorDash and the Grubhub has been awesome. Me and my kids are so thankful and blessed. And I guess to
Yeah.
be a blessing is you have to be a blessing to get a blessing. And I would like to think that I'm a blessing to everybody else. But my family and my friends, my mom took my kids for a week, you
Ooh.
know, surgery so that I could have a quiet house and have my surgery. And now I'm getting emotional,
Yes.
but I'm gonna pull it together. Um, but just it's just a testament to how hard I love and how
To
hard my family
you.
loves me back. I know that regardless,
Hmm.
my support system is strong and it's so
Hmm.
important, especially now as a single woman with 3 kids. You doing all, and I do get tired. Don't get me wrong. I do get tired.
Hmm.
I do hit the wall. I do cry in the shower. In the car. I have moments where I throw a pity party, but just like now, I'm gonna pull it together because as a woman, that's what you do. I
Yeah.
never kids see me have those moments because to them, I'm their superwoman,
You are.
and I never want to let them see me have those moments. But they do. You do. It's reality. It's
It
reality.
is.
So that I can call you. I can call
Hmm.
I can call him. I can call. I can go on and on and on and on about who I can call. If I need a good laugh, I call crazy daddy on at 8:02 and had a good laugh.
You know, Cassandra, you know, you keep putting quotations. You are a superwoman. You do it all. And superwoman, like you are that person. I'm telling you, you touch so many people's lives. My husband absolutely adores you. When I was like, yo, I got to go to Cassandra for a week, watch the boys. She got to go to work. He was like, well, what you still here for? You know, like go. If I say I'm going with C, bye, because he knows that I'm good, right? He actually loves me when I come back from you, loves me more.
You rejuvenated because all those libations that we.
Y'all don't know she's a bartender. So you are all those things, and that's why people do what they do. Like I got the email, Sakar was on it. We need this, and this. I was like, this chick right here be on it. So people love you. I am so thankful to be your friend. It is an honor to be your friend. I don't want anybody else to be jumped in this pink gang of ours because I have a picture of you, me, and Sakar at somewhere. We were out, and all three of us. If we take that picture today, we on the other side of cancer.
You're
Like
right.
that's
And
crazy.
who would have thought?
I didn't. We y'all were supporting me, and then we were supporting Sakar, and then now we're supporting you. And at the last walk, I like literally said, I don't want nobody else to be jumped in this game.
No, I don't either. I
No.
mean, being a part of anything, but this is not something that I had desired to be, jumped into this pink club, but I'm in it
Mm-hmm.
now. So I want to do the best and do my part to help the next woman, but I don't want anybody, friend, family, hell, even my folks. I don't want anybody else
Okay.
inducted into this club. This is a sorority that we don't want to parts of.
No, I got jumped in. My colors are pink. I got the scars and the tattoos to prove it. I'm good. I don't want to see it no more. So, what are you doing out there? Are you doing any volunteer work? I know you painted the pink wall. What are you doing out there?
So, my plans, just like everybody else's plans, have been completely derailed with COVID-19.
Hmm.
Sakara and I were going to, there was a comedy show in Charlotte that was by the Susan G. Komen Foundation. We were going to volunteer in that. Pink aside, I'm an Aquarius and I am a humanitarian by nature. Volunteering is very something that's very close to my heart. Very passionate about. I am a mentor. I do lunch buddies. I do whatever I can to give back to my community. So I did the walk pink. I did do the walk and who for the Casanova Q. Um,
Yes.
Everything is virtual this year thanks to COVID, and the virtual does not resonate with me. I'm just gonna be
Yeah.
everybody know me. I'm transparent. I'm honest. I'm blunt. You take it or you don't. It is what it is. But it all comes from a love. But
Yeah.
the virtual does not resonate with me. So I have
Yeah.
stepped back. There's a lot of virtual things going on. It's some virtual things that I'm involved in for work. But
Uh-huh.
out of that, I'm trying to just leave the virtual stuff as minimal as possible. But when we are ready to hit the pavement again, I will be there.
Well, I appreciate you being on my podcast and on my live. There is a couple of things. Pam said, I had them jokers for 11 days. Pam had them for 11 days.
She did. She said, I'm a survivor. Yes, you are.
Mama Chavis, you had them for 11 days. I thought it was. And I stay in the same area, and I'm not coming to help you. Uh-oh.
I'll be like that.
Maybe next time. Maybe next time. Definitely next time. Of course, you have Carla. You have all your friends that are up here that
Yeah.
just love you to pieces and keep being the advocate. Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
Carla bought me the biggest bag of bull ever, stack galore, and I ate all of it.
So,
Skittles, Kit Kat, chips.
have you been eating during COVID, working out during COVID? What's it
It's
looking like?
COVID-19, but I got the COVID-10. I have gained 10 pounds because of this COVID and eating all them goodies Carla brought me. And
Mm-hmm.
now, when I'm able to, my doctor, because out, doesn't want me doing anything just yet. So I will have to have to get back on the Peloton or something, block or something, because I have picked up some COVID weight. A lot of us have.
Yeah.
Home, you're eating, you're enjoying your libations, and it catches up with you. So yeah, I do have to get in motion once these tatas heal, because they are still very much healing, and I
Yes.
you know cause anything with my recovery to go in the opposite direction. But when I'm healed, then I'm gonna have to get serious and get this weight off. It don't look good.
They do- Look, I'm up here looking at my chin, trying to do the side swoop, you know.
It's hard.
But speaking of COVID, like our next podcast that I didn't want to release it early. I wanted to release it after you, because it talks about COVID. It talks about cancer, COVID, and care. That's coming up with Nurse Erica. She'll be doing cancer, COVID, and care. And it's so important because you are still going to the hospital
Yes.
and you are going through care. You're going through the aftermath of having surgery, getting rid of cancer, and now you're dealing with that. And then when you go, do you have to go by yourself?
So I do. Even with my surgery that weeks ago, one, I had to take the dreaded COVID test that I had anxiety out the woo-ha about
Did
taking
you?
the stupid COVID test, but I had to take the test. And I had to go to my surgery by myself. Sakara dropped me off and Kim picked me up, but the waiting room is non-existent right because of COVID. So you don't have that support. They stayed in contact with Kim over the phone to let her know my progress and how I'm doing. But literally, you're alone because of COVID. No visitors, nobody with you. My doctor's appointment, they have the chairs all flipped all kind of crazy, and you can only sit here. And it's all because of COVID. But having cancer, you automatically have immune system. So I respect a lot of the precautions that are put in place to protect us, especially going into these establishments where people who may be COVID positive.
Yeah. Now, my brother dealt with COVID, and I I've been to the grocery store once, and I was in there for about 2 minutes. Thank God my husband does the grocery shopping. He's always, that's his thing, does the cooking. But I'm real careful about that. I have a couple appointments coming up now, and I'm like, I got to be real careful. I'm hoping I don't have to have that COVID test, but if I have to, hey, I'll find out on tomorrow if I need to have it before I go in to see the people that I need to see, because it's never over. I'm glad that we are moving through this. We're moving past this. We're going through. There's always follow-ups. What are your follow-up appointments? What do they look like?
Try to get this dog.
I thought that was that dang old dog. Cash, where you at? You gonna stand up, Cash?
He is bringing. This is like the third toy. I've been ignoring him. Clearly, are ignoring him because he keep coming down.
And so you had the nerve to get a dog after all of this.
I did, and you know why? Let me show y'all my dog. Come here.
She's gonna show you the human.
He ran off.
Yeah. Did he run off?
So everybody knows Diddy, and Diddy passed away in my mom's care some years ago, and my kids kept asking for a dog, primarily Caden. I mean, YouTube addicted to looking for a dog, and I kept saying one day, we'll get a dog one day. And Cancer said, what you waiting on?
Yeah.
On a dog. I love dogs. I was raised with dogs. We've always had dogs. So because literally, I will say because of Cancer, I decided, one day ain't promised to nobody.
Yeah.
So if they want a dog, you're not opposed to a dog, let's get a dog. I am allergic to dogs, and I hadn't been around dogs in a long time since Diddy. So I did notice, like when I went to my sister's house or when I went to my mom's house,
when you came to mine,
my allergies, even with Maggie, would get activated. So I did, have to do some research and get a hypoallergenic dog. So I ended up with a golden doodle, and his name is Cash because he cost a lot of it.
I remember you left the girl's birthday party, I think, because you had to meet about the dog or something because it was a surprise.
Yep, I did.
Lord, well, again, thank you so much, Cassandra, for sharing with me. I really do appreciate your time, and I appreciate you. Like, seriously, Cassandra, you are the best. And when COVID is over with, you will have your M&Ms.
I'm just waiting on my pictures of my
all godparents, Talanya, Joe, Cassandra, Damaro, and all of you will get for Christmas.
Now,
they're 4. You're gonna get an album for Christmas.
Thank you. Because you'll text
from birth to now.
Somebody who can text 20 pictures and they all come through at the same time, but I don't have a picture.
And I got probably about every year I got a picture of the kids. They're on my desk from baseball to whatever they played.
Yeah.
And they get big, but I promise you, Christmas.
Okay.
Everybody gonna have a picture in a frame, in a book.
Okay.
Shutterfly. Thank God for Shutterfly. Well, guys, I want to thank you again for joining us for Chemo Glow, where the glow doesn't define us, we define the glow. Thank you so much, Cassandra. I appreciate you. You stay right there. Don't go anywhere, Miss C. But we're going to go ahead and say thank you. Please check us out on YouTube. I have 4 shows on our YouTube channel, from our Chemo Glow live streams to our podcast to Let's Chat Just Because. You'll see my glow producer, Miss Vanessa. Up there, we'll do a Let's Chat. We'll just jump on. We'll invite folks to come on and just chat with us at that time. Just talking about the glow. What defines you? Because glow doesn't define me. So again, guys, I want to thank you. It's been a pleasure. Safe travels, V, to where you're going. And I appreciate you guys. Let's chat soon. Bye.